Hey guys, I hope you had a fabulous weekend and you're ready to get back into some science with me here. So this lab, the compounds lab, has to do with your pipe cleaners and your beads that were in your Ziploc bag of supplies that I sent home for you. So pause the video for a second, go get all those beads and pipe cleaners, and then come on back and we're going to get ready with this lab. Okay, so our essential question is, how do we recognize organic compounds in a chemical formula, and what other elements are found in organic compounds? So elements such as oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon are made up of just one type of atom, but then different elements can bond with each other to form compounds. Organic compounds are those whose main element is carbon. Organic chemistry is the scientific study of the structure, properties, and reactions of organic compounds. Carbon-based compounds are found in all living things. Organic compounds may also contain other elements like hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, nitrogen, or sulfur. If the chemical formula of a compound does not contain carbon, it is an inorganic compound. NaCl, sodium chloride, table salt, is an inorganic compound because we see here there's no C for carbon in there. In this lab, you will read chemical formulas for various compounds and build the model by looking at the structure provided under the chart. The small digit, the subscript number under each compound, tells the number of elements used to create the molecule. For example, H2O has 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Okay, so we've been doing this, you guys. We did this with gumdrops, we've done this in class, and now we're just looking into, can I tell the difference between an organic compound and inorganic compound? It all has to do with carbon. So you should have 16 pink beads, 5 green beads, 9 blue beads, 2 purple beads, 2 orange beads, 1 yellow, and then 30 of those pipe cleaners, okay? So in setting up this lab, I actually ended up sending all of my supplies to you guys. So I don't have pipe cleaners and beads to demonstrate with, but I'm going to do the best I can just with drawing here. So what you're going to be doing here is, if we look here, it says match the first chemical formula, H2O, with its structural formula at the bottom of the page, HHO, and copy the structural formula into the first row of the table. Okay, so if we look at our table down here, basically what they've done here, guys, is that they've scrambled it. They've given us all these awesome chemical formulas, which you can now pull apart and interpret, and they've given us the structural formulas down here and said, can we figure out which one goes with which? So the first one they gave to us, they said, that right there, I recognize that. That's H2O, 2 H's, 1 O. So I'm going to take this here and I'm going to copy it up here to have my structural formula. So I would copy that up into this box, and then we ask ourselves, is H2O organic or inorganic? Well, is there any carbon here? I don't see a C for carbon, so what does it have to be? Inorganic. And H2O, what do we call that? Water. So that's your first piece there. So let me flip over here. So then you're going to you're going to use your pipe cleaners and your beads to make your molecule. So we did this one with gumdrops. It's a very common one. I've got my 2 pink beads for my 2 hydrogens. I've got my imaginary pipe cleaner, and then I've got my blue oxygen bead. So H2O equals water. Here's my structural formula. Here's my pipe cleaner and bead formula. Okay, so you're going to build that. Then we would go on to our next one. Na, so that's sodium, 2 of sodium, 1 sulfur, 4 oxygens. So I'm going to look down here and I'm going to go, which one has 2 sodiums? Wait a minute, there's only one that has any sodium in it anywhere. So it has to be this. This is my structural formula for sodium sulfate. Sodium with sulfur and oxygen, sodium sulfate. So I would copy that structural formula up here. Is it organic or inorganic? Let's see, do I see any carbon anywhere? No carbon, so it has to be inorganic. And the name, sodium sulfate. Okay? And then you're going to make it with your pipe cleaners and your beads. Next up, C2H6O. Okay, so 2 carbon, 6 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. So I come down here and I go, which one has 6 carbon? Not 6. 6 hydrogen, 2 carbon, 1 oxygen. 6 hydrogen. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hydrogen, 2 carbon, 1 oxygen. Ding, ding, ding. There it is, right there. Okay, so I'm going to copy that structural formula up. And then I go, is that organic or inorganic? Wait a minute, there's carbon in it. So what does it have to be? Organic. It is organic. And what does this make? You probably don't remember, but in our chapter that we read together about naming chemical formulas last week, we looked at this combination, these next few. It is ethanol. Ethanol. Okay, so here's my structural formula. Here's my pipe cleaner and my beads. So I've got my 6 hydrogens. I've got my 2 green carbons. And then I've got my 1 oxygen. So you'll get to figure out how you want to build that with your pipe cleaners and your beads. And I'm really excited to see them. Okay. Now there's only 2 left. Those 2 are all on you. I want you to go through the exact same process. Figure out which structural formula, is it inorganic or organic? And now here's your hint, all right? This one right here, C3H8, makes propane. Because remember in the video before I was like, hey, that's what I heat my house with. This one here, can you name it based on the worksheet we did last week? Fe is iron. Oxygen, we changed to "ide." There's your hint. What would the name be? Okay? So go ahead, you're going to build me those amazing, beautiful molecules with your beads and with your pipe cleaners to make the bonds. And then you have a check for understanding. And then you've got our claim, evidence, and reasoning. So remember, this whole thing is, how do we tell the difference between organic and inorganic compounds? What elements are found in organic compounds? Okay, so if we go back to our first page, we know our claim is that organic compounds come from living organisms and they contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, and nitrogen. Inorganic compounds never have carbon in them. And then the evidence. This is the prove it. What in the lab proved our claim? And then the reasoning. The kindergartner comes up to you and goes, but why? Why does your little bead and pipe cleaner thing show that inorganic compounds don't have carbon in them? Why? Okay, so give me your reasoning. And then you've got a few reflection questions here at the end too. All right, so happy molecule making. Send me pictures of them. I can't wait to see how they all turn out. And let me know if you get stuck on anything. All right, miss you guys.